here. So that's the reason I wanted to be here.
Thank you, sir. Senator?
Yeah, thank you, and Chris, and it's been a pleasure, it really was a pleasure working with Chris in the United States Senate, the two bills we talked about, but other issues that we worked on. And I'm going to take a little issue with Chris just to side with Ivanka, not for partisan purposes, but I think Chris is right in the sense that when we were in the Senate, compromise was in fact rewarded. I'm not sure it is today, and so that's where I would differentiate. I think the political atmosphere has changed in the last 10 or so years, at least since I left the United States Senate, and so I think it is novel that we have an issue that is appearing, that is a controversial issue that conservatives and Republicans would have never seriously thought about, a national paid leave policy. As Chris and Adrian both kindly mentioned, I did oppose I voted against the Family Medical Leave Act. You didn't even know that I voted against it. I mean, so, and I did so because I was concerned about the impact on the business community, particularly the small bit, and setting a precedent. But what I've seen over the past 25 years is a real fundamental shift in what's going on in families in this country and demographics in this country. And we have, I think conservatives are increasingly concerned about the state of, and this is what brings me to the table that maybe differentiates from Chris, is the state of newborns and the enormous amount of medical research that's now out there about the impact of parents not bonding with their children at this very young age and the devastating consequences of that for the long-term health of these children. And while a medical situation is urgent, and I understand the need, the long-term consequences are not necessarily as known as what we do know about the early childhood years. And so I look at it, and Chris is right, the issue is going to be resources. And there is going to be a struggle to get resources devoted to this. And so my input is going to be, we have ample evidence of, number one, the consequences of parents not bonding with their children. We have ample evidence that more and more people of childbearing age are not having children because of the expense and because of the disruption. And we have the lowest birth rates since the Great Depression in this country. And that is consequential to the economy of this country and to the fiscal health, not just in the long term, which I think Ivanka mentioned, which is social service programs like Social Security and Medicare. And I remind everybody I have 7 children, so I've done my part for that. But most, you're welcome. But most are not because of the tremendous cost associated with it. And so there are ample reasons, given the limited resources that we're going to have, because it's going to be a struggle to get any resources to this program, given the limited resources, to diffuse it over a broader group of people makes it almost inconsequential to their lives. I'd rather take the limited resource we have and focus it on, admittedly, I mean, Chris, and I think Adrian or somebody here mentioned that 75% or something like that of FMLA is used on medical leave. Well, that actually proves my point, that actually a smaller group, more targeted, with limited resources, is actually going to have your biggest impact. And one of the things I learned in my final comment, I know I'm going long here, but my final comment is, one of the things that I have always admired about the Democrats, and it's caused me the bane of my existence of my conservative colleagues, is Democrats are willing to take a slice at a time and move on and fight again. Whereas Republicans want everything fixed at once, and if we can't get everything we want, we go no. I think this is an opportunity for Democrats to be Democrats, take the slice, and then fight another day.
Just quick.